Hello YouTube, it is your boy JZTV coming at you fresh in the morning. We are here to talk about The Sopranos. We're here with the 83rd, sorry Jesus, overall episode. Cut me some slack, I just woke up like an hour ago, maybe even less than that. But yeah, it's the 6th episode of the second half of the 6th season. You have the 18th episode of the season overall. So, yeah, obviously two huge deaths. We get some characters that aren't going to be a part of the show anymore, we learn. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to kind of talk about what happens. And I don't really know. We'll have a mini discussion at the end. I got to get going on studying, so we're just going to get this video out real quick. Let's go. So, AJ's therapist sees that the prescribed drugs are working. He is happier and calmer and taking college courses again. Obviously, a main reason for this is because he was meeting with the Jasons. He continues to spend time with Jason Parisi and Jason Gervasi at their frat house, and again, that is really helping him out, really helping him like find happiness, find something in his life, find a purpose, find something he wants to do. So they laugh about Victor, whose toes were amputated after they injured him with sulfuric acid. Extremely fucked up. Obviously, there's like a really fucked up like hazing, picking on people culture in like in the frat culture, like aspect of the frat culture, I guess I should say. I mean, are we sure that's even funny? But I don't know. The two Jasons and others assault a Somali student while AJ stands by distressed, doing nothing. He realizes how messed up this is. Like, he's obviously happy. He's living a life with these guys. You know, these are great people, but he realizes how fucked up it is as well. Um, he relapses into depression, like seeing this, like, why can't we all just get along? He says to his therapist, and that's like one of the most real lines I've ever heard AJ say on the show. One of the most like impactful, like conscious lines, because this kid has always been so immature about things, you know, as we've watched this show, but now he's finally kind of breaking out of his shell and becoming a whole new person, which I think is awesome. So yeah, Phil discovers that the construction demolition waste that Tony has been sending to Barone Sanitation contains asbestos, which is obviously a carcinogen. It causes all sorts of cancers. I think it's like radioactive. Is that what they say about it? I know I learned about it in school and stuff. It was like pretty common knowledge back in the day. They don't really use it anymore, and if they do, they like conceal it. But yeah, at a meeting in New York, he says that he will not accept any more unless he receives a 25% cut. Tony refuses, so these two are going to once again have rifts in their relationship, you know, over some business disagreements, which I guess has been kind of normal. That's been just a steady thing that has happened over and over on this show. So, as Christopher drives him back to Newark, Tony admits he may have to yield, but the waste is eventually dumped into a lake. Like, man, whatever. Yeah, they dump it into the lake. It's like pretty savage. Yeah, and this drive back is the last drive back for one of the most important characters in the entire show. Chris is restless as he drives, and Tony looks at him carefully, kind of like studying him, like, is this kid alright? Are we going to make it home alright? But their car drifts into the opposite lane, then swerves sharply to avoid an approaching car. I don't know why this happens so often. Like, car accidents and all this type of stuff happens so often on the show, and I'm not really sure why they do this. I guess it builds up the drama. I guess it's like a story piece, like a storyline piece, or whatever you want to refer to it as. But they go off the road and the car rolls many times as it descends an embankment. Oh, yeah, it like smacks like it's like a ditch pretty much. But you kind of look at this and it's like, wow, these guys have gone through so much. Is someone going to die from this? But Tony exits wreckage and pain, but with only minor injuries, just some cuts and bruises. Chris, who is not wearing a seatbelt, is seriously injured with internal bleeding. I think like a rib or something is like punctured his lungs or did something. Ribs are like crushed and he's like suffocating because there's like internal blood in the rib area. It's called a hemothorax, which is extremely fucked up. But yeah, he manages to tell Tony to call a taxi as he would not pass a drug test. He's not going to survive the thing anyway because he obviously there's a lot of sides on this thing. Like, well, he should have wore a seatbelt, or well, you feel bad for the kid. He suffered. So Tony begins to call 911 911 for help, but abruptly changes his mind. He's like, I don't know. He pinches Chris's nose shut so that he cannot breathe, and he chokes to death on his own blood. And it's almost like Tony was trying to end it sooner for him, but at the same time, when you learn like Tony's mentality later on in the episode, it's like, wow, is this guy an asshole or what? So Tony dreams that he tells Dr. Melfi that he killed Chris, Pussy, and Tony B. Obviously, that's something he can't do. That's super like incriminating information. She could easily go report it to the authorities, and she's told him that before. She's made him aware. Like, I have a client privilege. Like, if you tell me anything and you're under fire for something, I can be a witness. I can be a testimony. All this stuff. So, during his actual session, he recalls Chris as a liability and an embarrassment and says he resents having to feign remorse in front of his family. It's obvious like a pride thing, like a masculine thing, like a part of being a gangster. Like, you don't want to show your emotions and all this type of stuff. So, at the wake, he's disgusted by the display of sorrow, which doesn't make sense because obviously Chris was loved by so many people in that family. Tony's just been acting super weird lately. Like, I understand everything that's been happening with him, but like, with Chris and like not being around. But dude, does that really call for like not being remorseful when he dies? I think that's dumb, honestly. Sorry if I'm a little quiet and a little groggy. I don't know, but he and Carmela also go to the wake of Polly's adopted mother, Nucci, who has died of a stroke, which is unfortunate. Obviously, there's death in the family. This has been a curse that's been happening to this family over the last couple of seasons. And yeah, Polly is angered by the poor attendance, but appreciates Tony and Carmela's presence. Obviously, Tony and Polly have had their tensions, but Tony really wants to show him that he cares. Really good friend for doing that. So Tony decides to get away to Las Vegas and like recover from the death, reflect on some things. He meets Sonia, a stripper who is Chris's mistress, like someone who he used to go out with. So they have sex, smoke marijuana, and take peyote, which is like it's like a cactus. It has like alkaloids in it. I don't know. I don't know what you would consider the type of drug. I guess it's his own thing. Playing roulette, he has a winning streak, which is crazy because it like almost seems like when someone's intoxicated, when they're under the influence, they win more. I just don't know. Like, that seems like it's how it works. So he mumbles he's dead and collapses on the casino floor, laughing, kind of having like feeling the symptoms of the high. With Sonia, he watches the sunrise over the Red Rock Canyon, which is in Vegas. Obviously, I think it's like right by Area 51. I think, could be wrong there. There's a flash in the sky, and Tony cries, "I get it," which is super weird. Tony has some really weird moments to kind of close out the show, but obviously, Christopher Moltisanti was seriously injured in a car crash and then murdered, pretty much, by Tony by suffocation. He choked on his own blood. He squeezed his nose shut when he was gasping for air. He dies choking on his own blood. And honestly, when you first watch this show, you really don't realize that. You really don't realize what Tony is trying to do. But then you're like, oh shit, like he's killing him. And obviously, Maria Nucci Gualtieri dies of a stroke. Obviously, her and Paulie had their fair share of tensions. But hey, I mean, I don't know. You still gotta care, like admire what she did for you in your life, and he showed up and showed some love and admiration. It's almost like until someone dies, you really don't appreciate that about them. But yeah, when we were told that Ginny Sacramone, who's Johnny Sack's widow, makes a final appearance, there's really no point of her like being a part of the show because anymore because and that's understandable because she really was only significant because of Johnny Sack and like their interactions at the house and getting to know him as a character personally. But yeah, she's not going to be part of the show anymore. Obviously, there's only 3 episodes left, so it's not like it really matters that much. But yeah, obviously NBA games are going on all day today. We have one coming up in like 20 to 30 minutes. I don't know how much I'm going to watch today because I'm going to be studying. I'm going to be working on some ethics homework to close out the semester, all this type of stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to leave Monday night if I can. I don't know if I'll 100% be able to, but we're probably going to be in the home studio. I'm going to try to figure some things out. So yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe. As always, this has been your boy Cheesy TV. We have covered up to this point every single Soprano episode, not skipping a beat. We're going to get into a new show here very, very soon. I have a lot of shows lined up. Like, there are a lot of shows to watch. So don't worry, we're not going to run out of content.